get the water for Drupon in Virginia.
No, cold.
Smells like green beans. Like Thanksgiving cabbage and green beans
Wow, okay.
with fire. Like there's fire going on top of it.
Well, there was a fire over there yesterday.
Yeah, that could be maybe because the window's open.
Drifted over.
It's weird. It smells like Thanksgiving morning.
morning, everyone. So we will begin with the opening prayers on page 1, once in English and once in Tibetan. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Page 3. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teaching, and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Namgen tadai nyambe semjen tamje choche de samge de shen shekpa tam jege go son do yanden tena tam jege ngover gerwa jege pambo dondrai jeje saje june habage gende tam jege ngada Harinjen sawa dan yubare jebe parne lama tamba nama gyabze je woye dan je kore je lazo nama gyabze je woye sanje chamdende namla gyabze je woye tambe Joy namla gyabze jewo Nabbe gende namla gyabze jewo Bawa kando chejong sume Ezo yishe je jendan demba namla gyabze jewo Page 4. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Ningpo Chege Vare Sanje Namla Kyabse Chodai Chanchu Sambaye Tolai Tijin Kyabse Enjedai Moje Deje Chanchu Tone Jibadang Chanchu Sembe Laba Lai Tedai Rimshin Nebadar Antijin Dolai Pendon Dei Chanchu Semne Jeje Sheng Antijin Tene Laba Lai Rambai Jindu Laba Ge. Page 5. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sanje Chodan Soje Chodan Lai Chancho Barde Danghe Kyabse Che Danghe Jenso Gibe Sonam Je Drola Benje Sanje Drupa. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Semchen Tamje Dewa Dan Deve Judan Dembai Jurje Dungar Dan Dungar Ge Judan Dewa Jurje Dungar Mebe Dewa Dan Dewa Six, the refuge of all sentient beings without exception, divine subjugator of terrifying Maras, together with their hosts of demons, the one who understands all realities without exception exactly as they are, transcend and conquer together with your disciples. Please come here to this place. Baza Zamaza Baza Zamaza Male Semjen Kunje Konjur Jeng Dude Bonje Meze Jomze La Mwana Male Jeshen Kenjur Be Jomzen Kruje Nidere Shezu And then we can turn to page 11. Namo, to the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer the fundamental ground of appearance and existence. I supplicate you to thoroughly liberate the three realms. Please grant your blessings and overturn the depths of samsara. Sublime Master, wish-fulfilling jewel, crown ornament, the inconceivable, inexpressible mind of the victorious ones, the one endowed with 5 wisdoms of omniscience, gracious one, the embodiment of love, precious protector of beings, I supplicate you from within the essence of mind, please grant your blessings in the innate nature. Please bless me that I may realize the Dharmakaya that is beyond intellect, this primordially unborn, completely pure mind, transcend and conquer the one thus gone, foe destroyer of afflictive emotions, completely perfected Buddha, endowed with logic and virtue, the one gone to bliss, knower of the world, captain, tamer of beings, the unexcelled teacher of gods and men, I respectfully prostrate, completely touching my head to the stainless feet of the unequaled Shakya king. At the time of your birth, leader of 2-legged beings, taking 7 steps on this great earth, you proclaimed, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, even then I prostrate. Possessing a body of complete purity, your sublime form is excellent. An ocean of primordial wisdom, you are like a golden mountain, the one whose renown is evident throughout the 3 worlds, protector of supreme attainment. To you I prostrate. To you who are endowed with the supreme marks, whose face is like an immaculate moon, to you, the one with a complexion like gold, I prostrate. Flawless one, such as you, among the 3 levels of existence is most exquisite. Unparalleled, omniscient one, to you I prostrate. Supreme among humans, captain of those to be tamed, the one thus gone who severs the all-binding fetters, who with senses pacified is utterly pacified and skilled in peace. To that one, the one who dwelled its ravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground basis for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone, the pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the 3 higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha, I also prostrate. And so then we can turn back to page 9.
dam je sa jen de la gong ba de go ne ma ne je den de na jo je song de de ge ba je la chang sa lo nam dai gong ai jo de su song wa ye ye jiang zu ze ye lun bo da an da ba je de song na lang ye wa gong bo jo ni je la chang sa lo an chen jo den ba je mian da wei ye san do do wa je la chang sa lo de de jo de so ba son na de ye mian chen chen je la chang sa lo amen jo de wa ka lo jun ze gun jo ren chen wa jun ze de yin ye oi je da ni ye je la ge ni yo jo ba da la chang za lo hong gong bo tu jie jie dan ba tam jie chen bi dong bo bo san na yong den jiang zu yin de yin ye la chang za lo ta bi do jia de wei jie ge wei nian song le de yin hen jie de dong dan jiu jiu bai xie jiu jiu la chang za lo an to ne tu wei lang yang dong la ba da la ra de ge shen ge dang ba yang den jie gen de la yang chang za lo.
And then page 15. I prostrate to the youthful Manjushri, to those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lions among humans who appear during the 3 times, to all of them without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms. In the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharma Dhatu completely filled with victorious ones. To those with oceans of inexhaustible, praiseworthy qualities, with sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas with the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointments, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense. I make offerings to the victorious ones with the finest cloths, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways. I make offerings to those victorious ones with vast and unsurpassable offerings. I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed with body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit, the victorious ones of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, the Pratigya Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who, passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. I dedicate whatever slight virtue is accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment. So then on page 14.
Baba Jambare Shana Jubala Jansalo Kenya Soda Jojo Jidana Tuzoma Yagba Meye Sengagun and Age Male Tada Tamjela Gudang Aye Damwe Chandeo Asombo Jobe Molang Todai Jawa Tamje Yege Ngazamande Shenge Mundunye Lura Dubaye Jawa Gunarade Chanzalo Duje Dena Dunye Sanje Na Sanje Seje Gunai Jobada Adadara Juje Yana Maluba Tamje Jawa Dage Kongwaramo Adadai Mawai Meze Janzo Na Yanje Yana Janzo Dagenge Gyawa Gunje Yonden Rabjo Jenge Gewara Yegwa Tamje Dage Do Undamba Tungwa Damba Dan Sinye Namdan Juba Tunjodan Marme Jodan Dubo Damba Ye Gyawa Tada Lane Juba Je Anaza Damda Namda Tenjodan Jema Purme Rera Nyamba Guba Jebara Babe Jugenje Yawa Tada Layan Jubarage Joba Kama Lami Jajewa Tada Yawa Tamje Layamo Zambo Jula Debe Dodage Yawa Kuna Chanze Jubarage Jai Shedan Demo Wangene Ludang Adang Dijin Ye Yang Deva Dage Jeba Jinjeba Dada Tamje Dage Sosoya Joje Jawa Gundan Sanje Zeran Jara Namdan Lodang Melodang Adowa Gunje Sona Konglayan Dadai Gunje Jeze Dayerang Gamra Joje Jeden Roma Dai Janjo Rambara Sanje Majane Gombo Dadai Dage Damje La Kolo Lana Meba Gowago Anyang Dadon Gaye Dadala Roa Guna Benjin Deveje Gaba Shinge Dunye Yobaya Dage Demor Jara Soaye Janza Wadan Jujin Yabadan Jesu Yaran Gujin Zoaye Gewa Junze Dage Jezaba Tamje Tobe Janjo Jimbo.
And then on page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
제제부 샤블라 그자제 제메 워저 도제 징고로도 머리 제제무 제도 담제서고 균chen 추진제 냐면 대공 된제 그자제 우미 추제 연제 보동도 두송상제 균chen 오니 라섬 주근 우송 통제베 제베는 메셔 그자제 강도 조조 동gen제나 되게 공부로 저거 Thinley 동배 주진 자람배 보선 보런도 담진대 예신 나모야 라에게 당로도 지게 중다다미 기남네 도와 군제라게 제 담지게 너다게 주된도 Good morning. Good morning. 땅아도 트레이닝 직진에 지내서 냠내 지기레스 됩니다. 또 데라
Chinese 냠는 제야이래.
아티엔드네 다제 땅아도 데려와 그 계획에다 가서 그래 좀 데라 지 추지야 그 가서는 개와치야 게다 내인도 내긴다고 듣는지 차디요레스.
So diding on Sonia and Chinese 냠는 제야이래.
지진식 보살에서.
Okay. So it sounds like we might do some Chenrezig practice today. But he said to begin with, when we do practice, it's always important to have the mindset of virtue as the foundation for our practice. That really becomes, the basis.
다딘드 다조 가르나야 다가 조데라 데르와 데 추치야라 데네 추치제다 데네로 오제 차도들라 임바데 칸데슬라
그래?
아주 추치야 게다 사장로 오제 로한데라
Such a day. So, and also another very important thing, is to have a place in which to practice, which is like what we have here. We have a place where we can come, a sacred place, a holy space, in which to do our practice.
다딘드 가르스는 것보다 추지네 데라 추치기 요래 공작기 요래 나랑기 요래 딘드 당원에 섬지미차와 개테니 평용된디 요레스.
And the benefits of having a spiritual practice, doing dharma, meditating, reciting mantra, the benefits of this, the strength and the power of that virtue is really inconceivable. It's really tremendous.
이내야 다 고티 개와찌부 차기요 말이스. 딘디야 어쩌디 그 쿠리오 운들라네 되와 서거다 드조라야 지 강사 코란성문에 고미게베케 넘버 똑바당 대장마지비케 쿠리오 운들라네 되베케 테네 어쩌다 직자도비알라 소바테네 무제기 요레 다 담다 제기 요르와 드조라야 제당하는 것도 제당 주치 배용 요리티네 양 참렌삼네라 지 치도 니에네 드조기 치도라테네 뭔가 정보와 원하는 거야 개침보레스.
So also, it's not just that it's an accumulation of virtue, from our side, which it definitely is, but that's not all. Like, we can really have confidence that our practice also has reverberating effects into the world around us, into our surroundings, the environment. All those kind of in the neighborhood, for instance, who maybe have kind of negative thoughts or non-virtuous deeds, it can help to like pacify also those negativities and non-virtuous thoughts in the minds of others. And, you know, there's also, for instance, like around us in particular, like with ourselves and also those in our environment, you know, there are various like unavoidable non-virtues. For instance, when we cut the grass, when we mow the lawn, there are a lot of bugs that get killed. And so in particular, all those kind of non-virtues that happen, you know, by mistake or accidentally or just kind of together with our ordinary activities, there's the benefit of doing like specifically dedications and aspiration prayers, you know, when our Dharma practice is also, you know, dedicated towards those beings, you know, then it actually helps to benefit them and also to purify those non-virtues.
Sometimes yes, of course, whatever your Dharma practice, you know, meditation or recitation, so whatever the Dharma activities, the benefit, you know, sentient beings. But however, sometimes we have to specific things dedicate for them. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, we do the practice, I think some people request, you know, someone died, you know. So everyday meditation that helps, you know, but we specific request.
Request is what he's saying. Some people request, you know, somebody's died, special practices.
Right, so then that time is specific for them. We can do prayers once a year. They do the monasteries or once a month or maybe 2-3 times a year, something like that. So this really dedicated for that person. So. And also, we saying is, yes, we Dharma activities benefit all sentient beings or the bugs, so on.
The bugs.
But also, we really need to sometimes, I think not only I'm talking about the center, individual house. So these days, you know, you cannot avoid not killing, right? That's impossible, okay? You never move in the house, maybe, I don't know, but you have to eat, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no way why I'm not killing, you know, the animals or whatever these bugs, so on. So that's really is this no choice. So, but we try to, you know, less, but there is no way to not killing. So those are kind of yeah, not really every day, but you can every day. But if something specific, you know, once a month, you know, I practice this, like whatever Jiren is good, you know. So Jiren say practice, you know, mantras or specific. Or my area, my location, whatever I did, you know, the involved killing the whatever you can eat, the vegetables or meat, or particularly, you know, how much we're killing the insect, you know, we're driving, lawnmower, or just all kind of thing. So I think best is, yeah, thinking about, you know, them. So this specific dedicate to the whatever this insect or animals. So
doing dedications for those beings we may have killed or inadvertently.
Mm-hmm. And tiga nang ye kita terwa yang sampai ngaco kita chu nyamne China pyong yore ina yang ku sampai tindi yung gdoa teyor chu chisala yang chibi tuchula 고 삼삼 배용 첨부 용약에 두주들이 요래스 때 두주들 갈세는 내당 두라고도 내당 두스 야다 네트 갈라고 그러나 가서 배나 하나로 인디비주얼 공로 자고는 디스 평체 요래스 갈세는 가서 스피시픽 딱 공부한다고 조정으로 와 어떻게 나이 양 가서 두 세야 단달라 임바 배나 가서 두주 딘디지랑에디 고 데디케이션 치긴 삼바 티 투라 양 배용체야다 양아 두 카히라 카리 용거를 열라오이나 가서 지 스페셜 데이트 요러와
Special what?
special date la sedan till gör vad se på junda och junda och full moon så on då och det så långt det spelar che gör det.
Sometimes there's also, when we practice Dharma, there are some things that kind of magnify the benefit of our Dharma. And sometimes, like for instance, the time, the date, or also the place, or the, whether we're alone or we're in a group. Actually, it's said that, when you practice, like come to the temple and practice as a group, for instance, or at a monastery or Dharma center, that the benefit is actually greater than practicing alone on your own. And then there's also the time. When like the particular times where the dedication can become more powerful or more important, like special dates, or even just special days of the month, like the full moon, the 15th day of the lunar month, or the 10th day of the lunar month, that they're the sort of special days within the month. And those also then kind of magnify the virtue. And then, of course, on like holy days,
어다 대가나 이 단강이라 너 참스야 갈라나 뭔가 트레인 투투인들라 트레인라 되니 가도 다 뭐뭐 뭐지 요래 다 티키치 티인도 되니 매나요 고다 제탄당 가서 dedication teachingwa or sentient beings 레티는 particular 되니 지구 something this penche 요래스
So for instance, like in the time, with regard to the time, so like on that particular day, if you think, oh, today I killed many bugs, many insects, so it's insects. Oh, sorry, the today was not connected with today I killed many bugs. It was connected with today I'm doing practice for all the bugs that I killed.
1 month or 1 year, right? So that's you have to think of.
So all sentient beings, of course, like we dedicate to all sentient beings, and especially, all of those bugs that I accidentally killed, right? Over the year.
어다티 믿고 미유대 갈세는다 매고 도와가서 섬진라 매세야 되다 조원가서 되리 다 담배기주 갈세는 매세야 되 백개침보래 다 가서 될라도 bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas is tamborngeji chigi senata kor motivation senako mikpajigla tene tene konso bodhisattva charwa. Onga bodhisattva chigi semjen tong chigi semjen jigla megne tene chigi yori ti pemesi wikeda ko samjin michawi mikpachembure yes.
And it's the objective really that is most powerful. So like, when we consider all sentient beings, so this is what's so important, like bodhisattvas become bodhisattvas based on the power of their focus or their intention, when they are really practicing with that very strong motivation of bodhicitta, with the intention that I will awaken in order to benefit all of these beings. And so that kind of bodhisattva intention, really generating this concern for all beings, all limitless beings, and wishing, for their well-being and benefit, that this is an inconceivably powerful motivation.
다 대가 나기 기양 가서 대치기도 변나직 상제당 장조 선발이라 소르와답네 되네 샘편데다 담제래 되네 지 코르발이 타르쇼 동아리 타르고 선배기 되네 지 몰람탕 되네 뭐와 들 맥네와 지나 되네 평체요레스 배나 상제당 장조 선바도 존로 선모당나 지금 저 리코스 지나리 마지나리 모나 잡나리 마잡나리 상제 코란소게 지 심견 담지라 고지 니마신도 이콜이 쓰기 요리 디나야 ngats individually ngats la top ji je go gro ngats ne pa ji go gro o te je ya la ta ngats so ba ta tene tili chi bi na tene ngats ta ko energy la na re ne pa la na re tene simchen ta ka ji dungi li se ya korwa li ta ya ke tene ngats ne pa ji lap to ku yo re tīndū ngā sūtā sūrō mōlā dhyāyā tī kē chīmbu shūbrē tā ngā sōng sūrō mōlā dhyā nō tā sāngjē kōrāng kī chīk chīndō gu yō sā rē sāmbā tī sāngjē kī chī chī gu yō rē kō tēlē yā ngā sū sūrvā tāp nā rē mā tāp nā rē kāntā tēlē chēpā sī kēn dō gu mā rē tī yinā yā chēpā ndrōng kēn tī ngā sū rā chā dī yō rō wā tīndū ngā sū kī tī nī chī sāngjē tāng chāng chō sīmbē kī ngā sū sūrvā tāp tā tsā mā interdependent rō wā tīndū sūrvā tāp bī jīmsēn tēlē tēnē tene chik sangje tang changjo simbi ke chenab de ko nimanda hya de wa nang yi ji yo tene tene ma zo kan phok gu yor wa ma zo kan phok to go phok se ki yu ji le gu yor wa ti yu de la ta ko sama interdependent nga chu nu pa tang top ji je bi na ti ti nu pe top ti ke ya sim yang hin ba de phan to gu yor es
And so it's also very important that we really habituate ourselves to supplicating the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. This is such an important method. If we really wish to become free from samsara, to be liberated from samsara, then this is absolutely contingent upon making aspiration prayers. So making aspiration prayers, doing dedications, like, when we, and it isn't, these supplications and such, they're not for the sake of the enlightened ones. The enlightened ones, like, their blessings shine forth, unconditionally and, without interruption. So the enlightened activity and blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that doesn't, our supplication, whether we recite supplications or not, or we don't make supplications, it doesn't make a difference. Like, those enlightened activities are manifesting for the benefit of all beings. But the power, that when we make the connection through from our side with sincere supplication, then it gives there is this energy or power that kind of creates access to connection to those blessings. So, for instance, that's really where the difference is, that like the sunlight of the Buddha's blessings, of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, is ever radiant. It's always radiating. But then when we connect through our own aspiration prayers and supplications, it allows those light rays to strike us so that we actually feel them, we connect with them, we receive them. And so then it really is like a channel, that that creates access to that power and energy.
Tiga nang yi ge da nga zo cho jig samo dang bi na tine da nga zo de la category situation ne dang zo ya bo cha yo res tine ne dang kan res ya bo cha yo res la bi na tine da nga zo ji chu chi se ke ko te ne ro ji da nga zo same ke ka le mo bo jam ne tine ko chu chi se ke da yu senari ne senari Thinley 차요레스 티인데 다 nga 총고네 갈래 자와다 대가나 얘기지 nga 총고네 다 직선함 ngome ke 모람 Thinley 다 진합 senari 토통 네팔에 때네 되네 nga Thinley 차요레스.
And so, like, if we think about it, in our situation here where, we have a place, we've created together, really, this place for practice. And so we have in this sacred space, and that coming into being, of course, there was like a lot of hard work and effort, but it's also not just due to our hard work and effort. Like, it is just merit. It's through the force of the merit, the aspiration prayers, the blessings, that really gave all of that energy and effort power. And so that's how things work. Things manifest largely, majority of manifestation power is merit, aspiration prayers, and connecting with blessing.
다 딘디 인도 되네 다디 양지부 그당 가져배 렉 차와리 다 레카나 마송의 차송 첩 차와리에서나 대 말이스 디인도다 지금 가져게 주치세게 때네 요와텔라 디토네 되네 가져 주치고 요레스 냠나 치고 요레스 디인도네
But it's also important not to like become complacent, thinking like, okay, now we did our work, it's done. It's not done. We have to really apply ourselves in practice and being dedicated to the Dharma and really like utilizing, the opportunity, really, really practicing.
디인도티가 나이다 망가랑케 지 갈세고레 다 때웨케 갈사 마이고 오 상하통야디 마레스 디인도다 조 때와디 갈세나 지다 참아양고 지 상지 투기 미위나양 가장 뭐 휴거리 같이 랑수수기 용몽바마 디스 지 두토바 라마토바다 대가나 이게 지고 땅가서 뭐서도 수이나요 이게요리 희기요 이나요 그 디네캅텔라 지금 이렇게 추게 지 화차 샤도야 오다 된대지 다 갈색 거랑 레와세너리 고스 드리지스
So Drupon Rinpoche says his goal is not just to build this temple. His goal is that, whether or not everyone can attain Buddhahood, we don't know, but at least, what his hope or his goal is really, for people to like provide the tools, the space, the conditions for people to really be able to tame their minds, to really pacify their afflictive emotions, and to become independent from those afflictive mind states. And also, everyone's getting older, everyone's going to die. So primarily, like at the time of death, to have really strong imprints, really strong karmic imprints of Dharma, so that, at that moment, when we pass, when we die, that we'll basically be all set.
디인도다 대가나 양아서 딘디 중국 말에 사면 요 말에스 데네 냠나치는 중투 그레스
And he doesn't have any doubt that we can do this. He thinks that, definitely, like there's no, oh, is it possible? It's definitely possible.
딘디다 가서 example 야보요레 베나다 가서 추촌 디나네다 지금 가서 가서 로마세 고나리 간다 가서 매튜 코랑 통브레 로 충중레 이나 디두 지다 가서 조조케 로마리 가나 조지비게 오네 센서리 코랑라테네 지 치토라테네 다 냠네 치요레 그가나기 코랑게 오네 지 대바 유라메와지 코랑라 나자요레 소요레 코랑 히아임바 타추 심바리 디네야 텔레양 지 남라다 현나메와 그런 원에 포커스 지야 돼 가르치기 위해서는 되네 지 주지야 돼 지베레 그런 그 수고 뉴베가블라 지베레 디인도 되네 대가 나이다 가서 그런 총베가블라 뭐부지 이거래 디인도 되네 뭐는 아직 총베가블라 양 그런 강예매와 지 대가 나이 그 범로 된디게 터네 그 총벌에 있다 된디 총비는 되네 가서 주님네 지하게 그 갈세 거다 점진으로 오지 통통이 요래서.
So, for instance, there was a member of our center quite some years ago, a young man who very sadly died of a pretty, like a really difficult form of cancer. So he had a lot of suffering also in the process. But he was so dedicated to his practice. His name was Matthew. And he, really in the final days of his life was just like 100% focused on practicing. And he was also like very decided. He had a lot of faith and he was very decided. It was decided he was going to die when it was decided. And he knew, like he was very clear about this. So he was able to really dedicate himself, and he wasn't afraid. He was extremely focused. And so there was, and when the time came, he really, and there was he made a lot of aspiration prayers. We all made a lot of aspiration prayers. There was a lot of focus that he had through that process, and it was very peaceful, a very peaceful transition. He died very well, and he, there were signs, of his, like the power of his Dharma practice, when he passed, and so this is like an example of, what we're all kind of capable of.
되네 대가 나긴 가서 피터 코란양 텐디지 바리 캔서치 야셔자탐바다 콜로직 니질 히안로 텐디제 디네테는 가서 개천도 중요래 개천 몽보 중 디갈다 코란 베미스 위게 지 갈세고레다 우리 세르로 히나 요래 디네 다 냠내 야고치 토마송 라베 라고 요래 디네 히야 임발라다 고베 히나도와 항상하게 히나 요래 고 뭐치드니까 지기 요르티는 당가 좋게 지라 코로나 경우에 지 추라 대바던 예치 제제 둘레 틴디 치치드네 직다 티제라더니 로직 지인다 올라마더니 코로나지 다 해야서야다 자원이네 코로나 해나매와 지 가두히나 상히나 해 나히나 해스 드링히나 가와 상히나 가와 틴디제게 되네 코로나 그 구롱 틴디지 레버레 다 텔레비아테 갈세나 맞송원에 몰람 자기요래 이나야 코랑원에 냠내 치기요러와.
So there was also another gentleman whose name was Peter, and he contacted. He had terminal. He had cancer, and brain cancer, and he contacted Drupon like a year, or 2 years, right before. Did you say?
Yeah, 2 years before he died.
Before he died. And so he sort of started this process like 2 years before he finally died. But he knew he was going to die because, and he had at first a lot of regret because he had practiced Dharma early in his life, but then he kind of like put it on the back burner, like, oh, I'll get to, like, later at some point I'll get to it. And he didn't. And so at first he was like really fearful and really upset, and that he thought, he was saying that, I really didn't practice the way I wanted to. I could have practiced more, and I didn't. But then in those 2 years, of course, he didn't know how much time he had. He just 100% focused himself, and his faith grew stronger, his focus grew stronger, and then by the time he died, he was like without any fear, and he did, he was completely single-pointed in his practice of virtue. He, and of course, we made aspiration prayers for him, but then primarily, the power of his own practice really allowed him, to transition well when the time came.
Yeah, also he, so I think after maybe the 1 year, so yeah, of course, before he's very scary, worry, but then after 1 year, then he kind of truly he changed the mind, so through the practice. So then he said, okay, no problem, I die tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm
right.
happy.
Sorry, I missed that part.
So maybe I die today. I'm ready. I no afraid. So also his practice, so I talked a lot too, so he just familiar Buddha, or I think lamas particularly, I know he got dreams in the, good dreams, and through the dream he also, Buddha, and he's really confident, and that's change. So that's Dharma, Otherwise, yeah, of course he 100% die, couple of years, but even though we don't know, we 100% we die. So, but if practice is very, very the important. So only through the practice they can change, So sometimes we said, maybe these days, maybe there are no result, or maybe I not intelligent, or maybe we not kind of realization, but not. Actually, I think if you're young, or if you're old, or man, woman, really is the practice you can get, you are intelligent or not intelligent. The main thing, just only things, one focus, faith, devotion, and practice. They can do the, experience, realization. So very important, So this, even though one has his difficulty, So that actually luckily he not much pain. So that's why he able to practice. But also, yeah, he has cancer. He's dying, So ordinarily, not much energy, So but he did the practice, and also really this amazing thing is. So then he almost he died, So just I think hospice, their nurse. So the nurse thinking he should be die, but he sort of feeling. So daytime he just with less to nurse together, but the nurse laughed. He walked across and he meditated.
He went into the Vajra position and started meditating.
Right. So the nurse think he maybe now has died. So just he looked back, maybe he just passed. But instead he didn't die. He just he straight up, bed, and this also crossed the
legs,
the Vajra position. So that's about through the meditation, how much power. Of course, other hand is the nurse knows he's not really no longer functioning. He's the body system, maybe no longer functioning. So that, but he's through the mind. He's so those are result, So how is Thinley tanga so Thinley indu ji nyamlen chibina atene ndo tuguyo des Thinley tanga so chameke ta zaveke karse gore nyamlen chiya ke kupa jumsen Thinley jela tene megiyorwa te hakugu des this.
So in brief, it's like everything is possible when we really put our mind to it and if we really practice. And this is why we're practicing, we're really, this is why we need to practice, we need to prepare for the time of death.
Mm-hmm. So otherwise we practice this not making money, So a little bit different, but actually this one hand is this, I think Milarepa, one, the stories. So I think he said, I think there are some stories, or ordinary people, they collect or they buy like expensive gold. But he said, actually, I collected and I buy things much more value and more expensive than you guys, the gold. Look, you have chunked the gold. That's true, So if you have chunked the gold, yes, of course, gold is expensive. These days, expensive. A long, long time ago, it's the most expensive one, But yeah, I don't know. People died, You cannot take the gold. Maybe more problems with your families. I don't know, but so they said, this Maharadeva said, I have you much better than, I have the gold, but he said, I have gold, but much better than the regular gold, ordinary gold. So he said, whatever I need, I use. Also, he said, whatever I can take. So yes, if you're Dharma practice, you can take next life and achieve enlightenment. Even though they said more power, you have more merit. Even though if you become Buddha, so still you have good merit, so you more benefit, able to benefit to other sentient beings, more benefit. So he said, whatever I can use, so, but yeah, so Dharma is like that. And also, we're talking about this morning, right? This Chandakiti. So this one story, right? So this, okay, we can say it. You tell them. Dawa Thakpas Yoris, that Haku Grotsami, a famous Indian scholar or practitioner.
So there was a great Indian master by the name of Chandrakirti.
So this Tibetan called Dawa Thakpa. So Tini Koran, that Jatan Koran Gombena Degi or what in it, Koran Bay, Hansanya Kita Koji, Sanje Common Senate, complete realization, Leviosarwa. Television Koran, Gombena, Pa, Kayamaji, Doche, Lekaya, Male. Padanatanga, ordinary Danatini, Kolojuan, Chigio, Mare, Loyan, Simgio, Mare, Tene, Chita, big activity, those Hida Chigio Marwa.
And so he was extremely realized. He had basically, a Buddha, but he didn't necessarily seem or come off that way to others in the monastery. Like he wouldn't really do any work. He didn't really, do the recitations. He was he appeared to be very lazy.
Teneta Tawatazuke, Ko Labno, Ko Yawikira Mendo, Ko Gombanali Mapu, Gosares, Kolo Jona, Yahuchi Mendo, Tene, Omia, Bojagi Mendos, Laviores.
And so the others discussed, that at the time, we really got to do something about him. We really, this is just why is he even here? He's not we should kick him out of the monastery.
Tene Koran can Kimbo Kaku Yoro, or realization Canila Yoba. Tene Kimbo allow Yoro, that Kimbo sent the head of the monastery. Tene Kimbo or Takopu go with the Mari in Taco Leka Guhan and degree school, Leka Gugu Gristan, so love Yorwa.
And so the abbot of the monastery at the time, he knew he had realization, and so he said, we shouldn't kick him out, but we should give him a job. We should give him a specific task or job.
Then people agree to it. Rita ko hua chuk zo nye chi ta hua chuk zo lab du hua de zo lan so homa hyo tene homa de zo la tene tawa da ma chang ma la tri tene chi gu gu sarwa.
And so one of the jobs was to milk the cows and to basically to take care of the cows, and also then to milk them and to provide the monks milk, or to provide milk for the monastery, basically.
Teneko kendagedi kachina pachu samaya rigang japshayo the ho yoma ko rigang ya. Tene ko so kan tagyo mo ko rigang japshayo des.
And so he was given this job, but he would just kind of like let the cows run loose basically across the mountain without really doing much to look after them at all.
Tini ta koranke lokpa mongbo yosarawa. Tini ota ta ya bonde ma sonsta ngane chine pachu de ma ki tene homa sho timiti ta te tawato zol homa de tutu lap sari sta karchiga sta pe ta
And so then everybody was like, oh my gosh, this was this was kind of a disaster, and there was a other monk who was sort of also involved in bringing the milk to working with him to bring the milk to the monastery. And so he was like, what do we do? Now it's time to get the milk, and the cows are all over the place. Like, we have to bring milk to the monastery.
Tene o ketache keo maris. Chiranso mi homati go chiranso tene tezu partawatus tihana degres labioris.
And so Chandrakirti said, don't worry, we're going to get milk to the monastery.
Tene ko paramojikti tene homa shugyorwa.
And so then he drew a picture of a cow, and then he milked the picture that he had drawn, and had like more than enough milk for the monastery. And then he was like, as much as to the monks, like as much as you need, take as much as you need, and like kept providing more and more milk.
Tiantine, ta chuseya de la co, Nupatinji yore, chuseya de la Chetante Yungdoa, that is some noji tango yore. Tine Ti Nupa de Candiji Tandangas ordinarism or that impossible roji, some guyorwa. In a young Tindi Maris, Tindi, that's all Carsina, Nato Tandi Tutsula, Natota, big obstacle, obscuration. Natsola debaji yores, ta natso nyomumbe debaji yuidela, ta natso ngone present oji, wa korampe cage oji na tsudiri, natsola ta functioning mewa oji, chando guyasarawa. Yina yanko ji ta debat kale pa chansona, natso individually namto debat pa chansona, tene debat chatan chambi kabla, tene koda ngohie seya, te lebdo ngohie.
And so, like this is an example of just like how powerful the Dharma can be. And then of course we think about things like that and we're like, oh, come on, that's not possible. Or, we don't really believe it, or we don't think it's possible. And of course, like these days, there are definitely less examples of such kind of like amazing, miracles and so forth. And a lot of that is because also during this time, the obscurations that beings have are much thicker. So what prevents us from both witnessing these types of things and then also displaying these types of things are the obscurations. So we have the obscurations of and so we experience, like our entire experience is shrouded in affliction, afflictive emotion. So we're like in a prison, we're like in a cage of our own afflictions. And we can't fully function because of that. And so
we cannot do anything like the cage, so.
Because it's like we're in a cage. But as we practice the Dharma, really all that we're doing in our Dharma practice is purifying that shroud of thinning that shroud of obscuration. We're purifying the obscurations and defilements little by little to a greater and greater extent. And as that happens, there are powers that develop, like clairvoyance and the ability to display like magical manifestations and such.
That the Hindu Tigana, 중과라 라왕 톱송 그래 다 된도 지 뇽몽바데 가서 줄라 뇽몽바지 탐비나 치킨 중화도 zor라더네 라왕 톱이어서와.
And there's a point at which one gains control over the elements. So when the afflictive emotions are largely purified, then one can actually like control the elements.
다 된도 짠다 나와 잡아 고랑도 중화실라 라왕 톱을 qabla tene ko inje mini 화제 그 발라 효고야 되네 여삼마와 고 가서 고 라왕 톱이 어려워.
And so, for instance, like Chandrakirti, he didn't have to milk an actual cow because he had control over the elements, and so he was able to kind of manipulate phenomena in this way and like produce milk from a drawing of a cow.
어때는데 다 원에 지나 거랑하게다 지금 문통나라 지 드로잉도 오지 치기거래 이내야 공원에 지면에 그 드로잉 원에네 이트네 용어지 말봐 인다 꼭꼭 간디 치고 나가 저까지 비욘드 딱 원에 지 통도 내가 저 이나 갈수는 다지 베나 당기 공투와 이리 니마 샤디요레 나와 샤디요레네 고 팀반도 오슈직 테 팀도 오시나 가서다 그냥 통고 말봐 뒤에서 가서다 통고요 말에다 계시 팀바 협트랙도나 니마 요반도 출고 말와다 니마 샤리 요레 요마리 하고 말와 텐도 코 카르세나 코지 양 니마 차상 팀바 준네 메베 갑라 코 시츄에이션 베드 카하와 텐도 테네다 베난다와 착반다 오이나다 코지 문에 딱 코트바 차상 상사베 갑라 코다 니마 샤데베 나나다 니마 샤나 카치지로와 오다 텐도 오지 차노 그래서와.
And so, for instance, so it isn't that, it's also not like that the picture itself like produced milk, because there's kind of, it's like it's beyond the way that we can relate with phenomena, this kind of thing. So like, for instance, when there's like the sun is shining, the sun is always shining, but then there's the clouds that cover the sun, so we get like maybe some portion of like, the rays of the sun like sometimes shine through, or like we see the light through the clouds, and so there's like different degrees to which we can sort of see the qualities of the sun when it's cloudy, but without knowing the full radiance of the sun unobstructed by clouds, if all we have is like that vision, that perspective of the sun when it's like covered with clouds, or there's like maybe, some rays that shine through, but we can't really see the full like radiance of the sun, then we think the sun is a certain way, or that we're perceiving the radiance of the sun, but actually we don't really see, the radiance of the sun and all its glory until the clouds are really, really parted, and they're not obscuring the sun anymore. And so it's like that, for instance, when somebody has fully removed their obscurations, the way they perceive reality and the way that they can relate with, manifest phenomena is like completely different from what we have access to with our kind of obscured perception. And Thinley?
Wada jatanga su ngushe seya jiorwa. Ngushe seya da ngone china should be samala nga su ngushe yores. Yina yang ko ngushe ma he de deb de ngi yorwa. Ti dem ngi de nyum bades. Bena nyamlen chinga zu ke ji hinga yore mamboji karsena da ji chilo ko na be parjo metel kawado do karando do tili ji hing mi bi na ya ko this te ngushe te kare ngushe yorwa ngushe ha sa ngushe cheta da ngushe mambo yorwa ji jiktenbe ke ngushe jiktenlen de be ngushe yin ta ngo sa mi ngushe se ya de sangje do yo marwa yin ya tene 냠len 챙겨서 ngushe this 용야 돼 가르스나 고추 냠len 지위 좀 선택을 중요해서.
So we actually, if it weren't for our obscurations, we would all be clairvoyant. But and that which like obscures that from us are the afflictive emotions, the obscurations, because we are covered over, we're shrouded with our veil of afflictions. And so, like for instance, with this example of Chandrakirti, like if, you know, an ordinary person has to be like watching the cows. Where are the cows? We have to make sure, you know, that they don't wander off so that we know where they all are. But if you have clairvoyance, you know where the cows are. There's no need to watch them. And so there are different types of clairvoyance. There's like worldly clairvoyance, there's transcendent clairvoyance, or clairvoyance that sort of transcends the world, or mundane clairvoyance, and then supramundane clairvoyance. And then there's also the completely undefiled clairvoyance, which is only possessed by the Buddha.
오다 뒤도 뭐시용이야 간디지 공부요는 다고 depends kasi yung batang dali chadi ores.
And so the you know, having these levels of clairvoyance are also connected with like a lesser or greater degree of affliction. Like if you know, the more that your obscurations, your afflictions are purified, then the more access you kind of have to those sort of ordinary cities.
Okay, so now we can do practice. So prayer book, so the yellow page, right? Or maybe we use the bell, that's okay maybe.
Just use the bell? Okay. So beginning on page 2? Or? Okay. Namo, to the Lama, the three jewels, Yidam and Dharma protectors, others and I go for refuge until enlightenment, in order to liberate all beings from the ocean of samsara's suffering. I will make effort in the generation, completion, and recitation of the Supreme Noble One. Namo, to the Lama, the three jewels, Yidam and Dharma protectors, others and I go for refuge until enlightenment, in order to liberate all beings from the ocean of samsara's suffering. I will make effort in the generation, completion, and recitation of the Supreme Noble One.
Namo Lama Joson Yeda Joson Lai Chancha Bada Da Yen Gyab Zenche Ando Gun Gurve Dong Gyam Zole Da Chen Puan Cho Je Zon De Zon Cha Avoma So Bawa Hyeda Sarva Dharma So Bawa Hyeda.
Within the state of emptiness is my own awareness as a white Hri. It transforms and I appear as a noble Avalokiteshvara. With one face, 4 arms, and 2 legs, I am seated in the Vajra posture. My enlightened form is brilliant white in color, and I am peacefully smiling with a compassionate expression. My first 2 hands are joined in prayer at my heart, while the lower 2 hold a crystal mala and a white lotus. I am ornamented by silks and precious jewels, and am endowed with the major and minor marks. I am seated on a moon cushion, and in my 3 places are the syllables Om Ah Hung. From them white, red, and blue light streams forth, invoking the wisdom being together with the empowerment deities who come to abide before me in the space in front. And then back to page 3.
Dambo chani to katara jatsu dani shen tenbe ma karbona
hung ho ma hung.
Akarma Thinley Wodo Yi She Ba Wang Lar Ji Gu Dung Gar Ju Bar Ju Om Arya Loki Shora Sa Dar Ga Da Za Ba Re Wa Ra Bu Za Gu Ja Za Ye Zu. To all those worthy of praise, at all times, with as many bodies as there are atoms in all the realms, I bow down and with supreme faith offer praise. Do Baravo Badam Jelo Shin Du Gun Je Tanye Ge Hello De Baye Nam Gun De Jo De De Be Du Barage As the empowerment deities bestow the vase empowerment, the water fills my entire body and all accumulated defilements are purified. The excess water overflows, the mark of Amitabha is sealed at my crown, and the empowerment deities dissolve. Unstained by defilements, his enlightened form is white in color. The perfected Buddha ornaments his crown. With eyes of compassion, he looks after wandering beings. I praise and prostrate to Avalokiteshvara. Surrounding a white Hri syllable on a moon disk at my heart level is the sparkling white mantra of the 6 classes. It rotates clockwise, sending out limitless rays of light that fully pervade the realms of gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings, purifying their suffering and obscurations. They are instantaneously transformed into the enlightened form of the Noble One as they all join together in the recitation of the mantra. Again, light streams forth and makes offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Their compassionate blessings and ambrosia of 5-colored light is summoned and dissolves into me. So back to bottom of page 6. So can we remember the melody from the Mani Drupchen? We can try to do that. So everybody join in all at once. Om Mani Padme Hum Kri Om Mani Padme Hum
Page 9. At the end of this session, I'm sorry, not page 9, page 8. No, page 9, sorry. At the end of this session, the external world, that is the celestial palace, and all the beings therein dissolve into me. I transform into light and dissolve into the three, which then dissolves into non-referentiality.
Minutes meditation.
공소 개면도 드링가 용고 남하고 It's at the bottom of page 9. Again, think that you have become the enlightened form of the Noble One. By the virtue that has resulted from my recitation and meditation on the Noble One, may all the defilements and activities in the mind streams of myself and all beings be purified, and may we be of one taste with the enlightened body, speech, and mind of Lord Avalokiteshvara. Then dedication on 24. Okay, so back to page 24 in the prayer book. It's towards the front, bottom of the page. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dagungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you.